Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. What's up, guys? I hope that you are all having a great start to your Monday. We were not able to connect this past weekend with any of the fellas and get one of the shows done, and I waited and waited and waited. We just weren't able to make it happen, and so I was going to try to make something happen with them today, and it just kind of ran out of time. I didn't want to miss a weekly show. I know that everybody looks forward to these, so I wanted to make sure and go ahead and get one of these out to you. I am flying solo, so you're going to have to put up with just me doing the show today, but there's lots of fun stuff that we are going to cover today. Just want to make sure that you guys are plugged in and creating some content. So if you don't know who we are, go to grownfolksoc.com. That is our website. You're going to see all the great content that our owners are dropping. We have 3 Madden leagues, a regular OMFL flagship program that has been in existence since 2001. It is the longest online league in existence that we know of. The OMFL Coach Mode, which is a league designed around coaching only. So you GM the team and you call the plays, but the computer actually runs the plays. It's a ton of fun, completely different. And then the OMFL 2, which is exactly like the OMFL, but it has become our development league. It is another league where guys who like to play in multiple leagues or try different teams can still play in the same community with the same rules, the same forum, everything that they are used to, but they can also play with different teams. This league also resets after the NFL draft every year, and they give you the opportunity to play with the NFL rookies. Then there is the GFFC, which is the Grown Folks Football Club. It is our FIFA 17 team. The GFGA, the Grown Folks Golf Association. It is the Golf Club 2 League. And then the GFW, which just kicked off this past week. The Grown Folks Wrestling EFAD, our WWE 2K League. A ton of fun. So lots of fun stuff there. You can follow us on Grown Folks OC on Twitter. You can look up Grown Folks Online Community on YouTube or Grown Folks OC on Twitch. So lots and lots of ways to find us. But enough of promoting who we are. Let's get to why we are here, and that is catch you up with everything that is taking place in the OMFL. Let's catch you up from weeks 5 and week 6 in the schedule. The Vikings beat the Browns 33-16. The Lions beat the Packers 23-13. The Jaguars 16. The Texans 10. The 49ers win 23-21 over the Seahawks. The Bengals scraped by the Ravens with a 27-24 victory. The Buccaneers 22. The Giants 0. The Cardinals 37. The Bears 24. The Chargers 20, the Cowboys 17, the Chiefs 42 over the Patriots 35, the Colts 38 over the Dolphins 17, the Eagles 21, the Redskins 0, the Falcons 27, the Panthers 0, the Jets beat the Saints, who are struggling this year, 17-10, and the Raiders beat the Broncos 24-20, and that is a look at your Week 5 games. Let's hop over and take a look at Week 6 real quick. The Bears fall to the Vikings 10-30. The Browns lose to the Bengals 41-13. The Falcons beat the Giants. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Week 7. I'm sorry. Let me cover Week 6 for you. This is Week 7, which we're currently in. So let's cover Week 6. The 49ers followed the Vikings 24-10. The Raiders beat the Cowboys, there we go. Just read the name, Nate. 31-10. The Dolphins 33. The Patriots 7. The Packers 29. The Steelers 14. The Bengals 34 over the Chargers 6. The Buccaneers scraped by the Eagles 23-20. The Cardinals with a field goal fest against the Seahawks 12-9. The Falcons 44, the Bills 27, the Giants 33, the Chicago Bears 13, the Jaguars with a 1-point victory over the Colts 22-21, the Lions with a 25-21 victory over the Rams, the Panthers with a 31-6 victory over the Redskins, the Ravens 34, the Broncos 13, and finally the Titans 27-21 over the Jets, and that catches us up for weeks 5 and 6 in the OMFL. Now let's take a little dive in here at a couple of things that stuck out to me as I was preparing for the show. Now, we have a two-time, I think he's a two-time, maybe three-time champion in Ducks. He's kind of moved around a little bit. This Madden started off with the Buffalo Bills, worked his way over to the Eagles for a little bit. I want to say maybe the Lions for a little bit, over to the Kansas City Chiefs this season. And he really is one of those players that has a great skill set of creating a team that fits his style of play, and he is just simply a winner. And those Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at 5-1. And I just wanted to take a deep dive at what makes him so consistent. And I think first and foremost is going to be his defensive play. He is always one of the top defenses, and he just has this unique ability to not only attack you, but keep you from turning turnovers or deep drives into 7 points. He just does a wonderful job at really keeping your team at only settling for field goals. And his team again this year, even though he's getting used to it, he hasn't had a lot of time to build this team into what he wants it. He does do his skill set really well. 6th at points and 18 points per game. And Ducks truly is one of those players that is a dual threat. If you somehow can figure out a way to get past his defense, he's going to make you pay for it with his offense. He's going to keep the ball away from you, and he's going to force you to be very efficient on third downs, which makes him such a difficult person to stop because he's eating up clock, he's getting big plays, he's scoring lots of points, and on the other side of it, he's shutting you down. He's causing you to go for field goals and to really try to get sustainable drives. He's 4th in points on offense, 6th in points on defense. He's top 4 in the league in every offensive category. His defense has struggled in some stats, but again, he's keeping teams out of the end zone and making you settle for field goals, which is making him extremely efficient. Brett Novak has kind of followed him everywhere since he drafted him in Buffalo. He's sitting at 67.2 completion percentage, 1,600 yards. He's only taken 4 sacks on the season, only thrown 5 interceptions, but he has 12 touchdowns for 123.9 rating. His running backs are just as stout. Maroney and Presley, both of those guys are averaging, look at this, 10.7 for Maroney, 7.6 for Presley. We talk about Cincinnati's running back. We really need to start turning our attention here to the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a long of 96 with Presley and a long of 90 with Maroney, 7 touchdowns combined for both of those guys. If you look at his receivers, he really spreads the ball around to a lot of different guys here. Lone really is the guy who is the number 1 target, but Cooks makes teams pay deep with a 25.6 average. Cooks has 5 touchdowns. Lone has 3. And then again, turning your attention to his defense, you're going to see a lot of guys get their hands on the ball. Lots of interceptions from this team. Marcus Peters has 3. Malden has 3. Lots of other guys with 1 and 2. Even Darren Lee has 3. Also leads the team in tackles at 18 tackles already on the season. He's really good at playing that middle linebacker, taking away that middle zone, and forcing you to look at other areas. He is a very good, well-rounded player. And then you give him somebody like Shakar Denard, who has 8 sacks on the season already and 2 forced fumbles. This team is a team to be reckoned with in the AFC. And I think, again, what makes him so efficient is he usually has a great, stout top 5 offense mixed with a very good defense, team speed from one end to the other. He really is the full package, and he's showing it here with an 86 overall team in the Kansas City Chiefs. He's sitting at 5-1 and really sitting pretty to make another deep run into the playoffs. Now, I want to kind of turn my attention over to another area in our league that has kind of caught my attention. This one has been building up for several seasons. The NFC East is struggling through yet another season here. And outside of Ducks and his Eagles championship that he had a couple of seasons ago, there really has not been a team in this league that has stepped up to take the bull by the horn, so to speak. Washington has shown itself in spurts. the Dallas Cowboys early on. This Madden has shown himself in spurts, but no team really has stepped up to the plate to really take the lead and be that team to shine here out of this division. This is a pretty loaded division when it comes to talent. Now, the Giants have been depleted after sitting without a season of having an owner, but outside of that, this team really has some pretty good talent. Now, Pepper has tried to rebuild that this season, but there's been no team to come out of here, and I've really wondered why. And I think some of it has to do with the inconsistency of ownership there. The Eagles and the Giants both have been ownerless at some point this Madden due to that one owner leaving and coming back and really ruining the team for an entire season. Ducks took the team back over and moved back around. So there really has been some inconsistency there. I think the inconsistency leads to no true rivals being birthed out of this division, which, if that is two of the games that you're going to have every season, you're going to play everyone in that division twice. So that is 6 of your games already done for you. If there's an inconsistency in ownership, 4 of those games are going to be CPU games. It just kind of lowers what your expectations are. It lowers your excitement level. And I think that that has played itself out. Plus, you just put into fact that normal life happens, pulls owners away. We also have the summertime here. And so really the activity from every team in this division has been lacking. There's been very little content from these teams. There's been very little chat involvement. So overall, the involvement of this division has been low, which leads to guys not really being excited about their games, which just leads, I think, to a lack of care for long term. And I think the other thing has been, again, the Giants and the Eagles have sat ownerless. I think it really speaks to an excitement when there is a rival. I feel like I play in the best division in our league from top to bottom consistently. And I think what speaks to that has been the fact that all of us enjoy playing each other. There's been a consistency in ownership. There's been a consistency in activity. And all of us really, truly enjoy playing each other, even if it's a win, lose, or draw. And because of that, we're excited about our seasons. We're excited about playing each other. Those games are spread out usually, which means our excitement level is peaked throughout the season, even if you're going through a lull. And I think that speaks to why the NFC has lacked that excitement and really has struggled at keeping someone to take hold of this division and be a powerhouse here in the NFC. Really, those teams have been out of the West and out of the South, with the Atlanta Falcons, the Saints for last season, and even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a few different points throughout this Madden. So now that we've taken a look at the Kansas City Chiefs and we've also taken a look at the NFC East, I want to look at Damian Goodley. Now, we talk about the Bengals a lot this Madden, and I think that's because since 3 seasons ago when the Bengals went on their very magnificent run, they were an 8-8 team, got into the playoffs, and then just caught fire. He has not looked back since. Can't really pinpoint as to why that is. I don't know if it's a playbook change, a gameplay change, a change in focus, but really and truly the Bengals have begun to become a powerhouse since that moment. They're not only a powerhouse in their record and in the play that they have, but they're also a powerhouse in their drafts and their off seasons, and now they have built their teams from top to bottom. And we talk a lot about their quarterback play, about their receiver play, about their running back play, but we have to start to take attention to Damian Goodley, their right end. Now, he was the first-round pick, number 12 overall, 4 years ago. So in one of our very early OMFL drafts, he picked up this kid. He's a guy that really has developed into a well-rounded player. 83 speed, 85 acceleration, 90 strength, 85 tackle, 99 block shed, 99 power move, 97 finesse move, 99 pursuit, This guy can truly do it all. And what I want to talk about is he's having a spectacular season. He's already sitting at 14 tackles, 13 sacks. He is putting up Aaron Donald type of numbers. And my question that I wanted to dive into is, can he break the sack record in the OMFL, which I think sits at 28 sacks for a season. Now, last year he had 26, 2 years before that 17, 3 years before that he had 9. So you can see how he's really grown as a player. But 59 tackles last year, 26 of them sacks, 4 forced fumbles, has really led to him to becoming one of the premier defensive ends in this league. And already this year, he's got 13 sacks. He's really getting after the quarterback. It's like a sack per game, with a couple of games already having multiple sacks. Against Baltimore, he really was that force that helped lead the Bengals into a very good win over the Ravens, 24-7. He had 2 sacks that game, one of them causing a forced fumble, which led to a turnover for this team. I think he really has the skill set. I think, of course, he really has the raw attributes, but the Bengals put their players in a position to succeed. And Damon Goodley really is in a position to succeed here. You can see, though, that it is really a long-term investment. You're already 7 games deep. You're at the halfway mark of your season. You're at the halfway mark of beating that OMFL record. You're really going to see this thing take a turn in the second half of the season. The Bengals are going to be, again, a top team. I think as teams, I think what sets him up for success will be that as our season progresses, this being the last season, it being the last season as we are in the summer, it will lead for teams to begin to not care. He will probably have a couple of CPU games. He may even have some sim wins here. That's going to lead to some inflated stats. I think teams that are still in the hunt and teams that take note will begin to keep in the tight end, keep in the running back, slide the line to Goodley's side. But I think the reason he will break this record is because the season just sets itself up for success as teams begin to lose interest, stop playing their games, begin to not put as much effort into scheduling, and begin to give the Bengals more wins as their team really goes on a run here in the second half of the season. So I'm going to call it that he's going to do it, but I think it's going to be a product of it being the last season. As we get into weeks 11, 12, 13, 14, man, 15 and 16 for sure, teams that know that they're out of it and have nothing to play for are going to lose hope. It's going to be the excuses, I don't have time, I've traded in the game, blah, 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 blah. All the lame excuses that guys are going to use, which, if you're listening to this, take note. Not everyone will be invited back for Madden 18. We are looking at consistency over your long haul. We're looking at guys who have kept communication open, gameplay, content, all of that stuff. And if there are players who have been lackadaisical in a lot of those areas, I'm going to open up your spot and offer it to a couple of the guys that are sitting in OMFL 2, because there are guys who I know will add to content, add to the league. And I'd much rather have that for a full 360 days a year, as we are a full year-round league, than just until the summer hits. So give me Goodley to break the record. I think it's going to happen, and that's going to happen because we are in the summer. So last but definitely not least, let's talk about Devontae Parker. The Miami Dolphins are one of those teams that has been in a lot of our conversations, just because they are always right on the cusp of becoming one of those elite teams in the AFC. And when we had powerhouses such as the Bills and the Patriots, and then more recently the Cincinnati Bengals, you want teams like the Dolphins to step up. You want them to become one of those teams that teams in the AFC have to take note for and have to prepare for. And so we don't talk about them as much as we probably have in the past in this last season, because they really haven't been on that cusp. They haven't went on that winning schedule. But Devontae Parker's stats have made me take note. Now, if you look at his stats in the past, he had that great season in 2018, 79 receptions, 1,554 yards, a 19.7 average with 9 touchdowns. Fast forward to last year, 66 for 1,099, 6 touchdowns. But already this season, he is blowing those stats out of the water. He is on pace to get 70 receptions, well into 1,600 reception yards, and well over 10 touchdowns. He's averaging 25.6 reception or yards per reception. He is just taking the top off of teams. Now, of course, Parker has that great speed and size. He sits at 6'3", 91 speed, 93 acceleration, 92 route running, 93 catch, 94 catch in traffic, 90 release, 90 jump, 86 spectacular catch. He really is that well-rounded, big, prototypical receiver that you want on your team. He's the guy that can stick on the outside. You can throw up the long ball. He's going to go make catches. He's going to hit the crosses and the drags on you. When he gets hit, he's going to hold on to the ball, which is a big thing this Madden. You want receivers to be able to hold on to the passes that you are getting them, and you want them to keep those receptions and those reception yards. But if you look at Parker this year, I think the difference for him is that he's taking the top off of teams. He's picking up those rack yards. He's averaging well over 20 yards per catch. You can look at his last couple of games. 26.5 against Tampa Bay, 25.8 against the Jets, 20.4 against the Colts, 17.4 against the Patriots, which has been his worst game so far. But I like his drops here, only 2 drops in the last 4 games. This guy holds onto the ball. He makes plays for the Miami Dolphins, and he's taking the top off of teams. He's going to make you respect that speed. And then when you start playing a lot of man or a lot of deep zone, he can hit you with the out routes, the comeback routes, or maybe even a couple of drags. Even some of those posts towards the middle if you don't have that good middle linebacker play. And I'm thinking that what makes him so well-rounded is that his stats, his raw abilities are just that well-rounded. He has become that number 1 guy for the Miami Dolphins that they look for, that they look to get open, and that they find ways to make plays. And he is helping his team make plays for the Miami Dolphins. I know that the team is not where they want to be, but they're definitely well on their way to turning things around and becoming that team that they want to be long term. If you look at them, they sit at 2-4 right now, but very much in it for that AFC East title. Probably out of it for a wild card, but if you can win the AFC East, somebody's got to go to the playoffs. And Miami, you are right there, right on the cusp. New England is taking a little bit of a break. He's getting his games in, but he's having to take care of regular life during the summer. I actually talked him into staying with us throughout the summer, not giving up his team, so I got to give him respect for that. I know B-Hog and the Buffalo Bills are trying to still get that team figured out. It is right there for you, Kevin. The Miami Dolphins can make a run if you continue to look for Parker to make plays, get that defense a little bit more well-rounded, and the AFC is going to have to take note from the Miami Dolphins. This could be the season that sets up well for them, even though they sit at 2-4. So that is a look at the OMFL through week 6. We are currently into week 7. And our outside the league segment was that the GFW kicked off our season this past week. The GFW is our WWE 2K Wrestling eFed. If you don't play WWE 2K, then you're missing out on a really fun game. We opened up the season with a role play of introducing the eFed to the world, and then of course introducing our first card. We only have 3 matches, but I'm hoping that we get a lot of role plays. And I wanted to just poke at the guys and talk about their favorite wrestling memory. Mine would definitely have to be tagged to my childhood, and then again something that happened more recently last year. So when I was a child, of course, wrestling was in its heyday, the Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage days, and I really remember my grandma loved watching wrestling, and she really turned me on to that. And then as I really progressed, it was back after high school in that 97 to 2001 range where Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind and just really wrestling, NWO, the Monday Night Wars really began to go to the forefront. And you just kind of fell in love with wrestling and these stories that were being told and these characters that, man, still hold a deep place in my heart today. Then I kind of walked away from wrestling and got turned on again because of my kids and a connection that I have with a guy that's in our WWE 2K EFED that is like a son to me, and a guy that has been in my life for a long time now. He started to play these wrestling games, and we would have a bunch of young people over, and because I was a student pastor at the time, and we would have these long, late gaming nights where we played these long 1 hour Money in the Bank matches, and it just was a lot of fun. And that really started to get me to looking at wrestling again. My kids fell in love with wrestling, and that leads me to one of my memories that I have more recently, where my oldest child and I went to an NXT event that was taking place here in the city of New Orleans, and we watched one of the best wrestling matches that I had ever seen. It was DIY against the Revival in a tag team championship match, and it was one of the best matches, hands down, that I'd ever seen in my entire life. The crowd was into it. They were into it. It just was a wonderful, wonderful match. And then I was turned on to a company that's still out there called the OCW, the Online Championship Wrestling EFED. And I really learned what it was like to play this game, to create a character, to develop that character, to tell stories with that character, and then actually play the matches and learn the matches. We have a guy that is in our golfing league that I'm hoping one day comes back and checks out our EFED, but he really became a buddy of mine in the OCW, really taught me the ropes, taught me character building, taught me how to learn move sets, and it just become a lot of fun because the creativity really was endless, from videos to your character to attires to telling stories through role plays. And so I decided recently, for a couple of different reasons, to bring back our EFED here to the Grown Folks community and start back the Grown Folks Online Wrestling Company. And so we started that out. I hope that you check us out. Even if you don't want to play the game, you're not into wrestling, man, watch the shows that we're going to be putting out, because the creativity is a ton of fun. The guys are going to be putting in a lot of effort. If you want to get the game and check it out, it is a little bit of a commitment. We're going to do 10-day cards, so it's not a super uber like intensive something that you have to do, but 10-day cards, and then for every 4 shows we'll have a pay-per-view. But it is a lot of fun. Check us out. Hit me up. I do have a video out there that shows you exactly how it works and what you have to do in game. But it'll be a lot of fun. I'd love to hear your favorite wrestling memories. If you watch the show, leave us a comment. Tell us about your favorite wrestling memory. I'd love to hear that. Give us a subscribe and a like and a follow on all of our social media channels. You can find everything that you need to know about our community, whether it's Madden, whether it's wrestling, whether it's golf, Rocket League, whatever it is that you're into, we probably have it. Go to grownfolksoc.com. Hopefully next week we'll have the whole gang back together again, and we'll all be able to give our input, because I know just listening to me by myself is not a ton of fun. So I appreciate you checking us out. Thank you for listening to me ramble for the last 30 minutes. We'll see you next week at Press Pass Live. Peace.